In Star Trek Discovery Season 5, the writers have gone back and decided to use and extend on an idea that was first introduced all the way back in Star Trek The Next Generation Season 6 in an episode called The Chase. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly what happened in that episode and what it meant for the Star Trek universe, and where the Discovery final season may go with the Progenitors technology and the idea and concept of this as well. But first of all, before we get to that, thanks for taking the time to choose to watch this video. I really appreciate it, and if you haven't done it already, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And so all the way back in Star Trek The Next Generation Season 6, we got an episode called The Chase, in which we get a bit of a glimpse into Picard's past and a sort of glimpse into everyone else's literal past, and I'll get into that in a minute. We meet Picard's former mentor, Professor Galen, and throughout the Next Generation run, Picard had mentioned that he was a student and fan and had a love of archaeology. But this is the first time that we really see how big this was as a part of his life, or at least in his early life. Galen surprises Picard aboard the Enterprise and tells him that he's doing research into something that could be the biggest discovery of their time. But he does refuse to tell his former student exactly what it is he's looking for or what this all could mean. The episode gives us a glimpse of Picard we haven't seen before, with Galen being a sort of de facto father figure to Picard, as he never really connected with his own father on that level. And you can see in the episode that Picard mulls over the life that he has versus the one that he could have had if he'd chosen another route. And that's kind of brought up in Tapestry as well in the later seasons of Star Trek The Next Generation. But definitely, I really liked when they done this sort of introspective what if Picard. But Galen's mission will mean that he has to take months away from his career and his ship, so that means leaving the Enterprise and Starfleet. Big deal for him, but as Galen sees it, whatever this discovery is, it's so profound it could be worth it. Picard refuses Galen and he leaves the Enterprise on a bad note with his former pupil, and soon after, Galen is killed for his research, throwing the captain and crew into trying to work out what Galen's research mission was and who might wanted to have killed him for it. The crew work out that Galen's research had to do with DNA from different planets, and Galen believed that although these different species were from totally different parts of the galaxy, that these life forms from these planets were connected somehow. The crew establish that there's more of these links in the chain to be found, and while investigating the other pieces of the puzzle, find out that they're not the only power after it, with the Klingons, the Cardassians, and even the Romulans showing up to have an interest in Professor Galen's work. They use the other parts of the DNA puzzle discovered by the other races to complete the sequence, leading them to a planet seemingly long dead. A standoff between the different fractions occur, and Dr. Crusher solves the final piece of the puzzle, creating a holographic message from a long dead race of aliens that become known as the Progenitors. I mean, that's not their name, it's just the name they give them in the show, because it turns out that these aliens existed millions of years ago and were the first spacefaring race in this section of the galaxy. Their empire grew and expanded, but they never found any other intelligent life like them, leading them to conclude they were essentially the first humanoid race in existence in the Star Trek universe. Realising that they were alone, they seeded other planets with these DNA fragments to create life eons down the line, and this explains essentially why all humanoid life looks the same in the Star Trek universe, and it's not because of budgetary reasons, it's because of ancient aliens, so just deal with that. While this had huge implications for the nature of existence in the universe, Star Trek has left this alone until the most recent season of Discovery, and when you think about that, it does seem a bit strange. Episode 1 of Season 5 of Discovery establishes that there were scientists who worked on investigating these aliens and their technology further, and that's what set up the story arc for the Discovery final season. This team of scientists discovered the alien technology during the Dominion War and decided to keep it secret in case it was used for the wrong reasons. Like the Progenitors themselves, these scientists would leave clues to be discovered leading to the technology further down the line, and creating a race to get to this life-creating technology first too. So what about the Progenitors and the technology itself? Well, outside what was mentioned in The Chase, we know very little about them up until now. They created most of the life that we see in Star Trek apart from races like the Sheliak and the Tholians, and left a message and clues for these species to be discovered millions of years along. At this point, we don't know exactly how any of this technology works. I mean, did they seed and visit every planet individually over years? Was it like a Prometheus sort of situation? Did they use their version of a Genesis weapon to do it all? Or maybe they used the mycelial network. After all, it connects everything everywhere, and apparently they're definitely setting Stamets and Colbert up for something this season, but it doesn't seem clear from what this is at this point so far. But I can see them tying it into Stamets' spore drive tech somehow, or maybe, you never know, they might just make it a big giant sky beam. We're going to have to wait and see. But the fact that this technology still exists and works millions, if not billions of years later is a huge revelation for Trek in itself. The idea that one species started it all was huge and game-changing at the time, but also at the time, TV was sort of stuck in that bottle episode format rather than the long-form storytelling arcs that are common in TV now. So they never had the chance to develop this idea in TNG over the last season and a half, and it's never really been touched on any TV show again up until now. A few episodes left in Discovery, we've seen 30 years into the future and how destructive this technology can be, and we still don't know where it is or exactly how it works. So at the time of recording this episode, they've got about, 3 episodes left to locate this tech, determine how it works, or destroy it, which is a big ask and a lot to fit in. While I'm not a huge fan of Star Trek Discovery, I do like that they brought back this idea from TNG, but we don't really need this much side questing just to get to the finale. I hope they do try and answer some of the questions of the bigger implications this technology has in this season, but I doubt they're going to be up to the task. In fact, I think what's going to happen is Burnham, Colbert or Stamets will have to make a sacrifice for the technology to work, and then they're either going to have to ascend to some sort of higher level of being, or they'll die and the rest of them will use the technology to bring them back to life. That's just what I think in a brief history of the Progenitors and their tech in the Star Trek universe. As always, I want to know what you guys think, so let me know in the comments below. How do you feel that they brought this storyline back? How do you feel that they're handling it? And more importantly, how do you think this is all going to end? Is it going to be a sky beam? Is it going to be an energy transfer? Is a crew member going to have to sacrifice themselves? I want to hear your theories, so comment below, or you can reach out to me on Twitter at TheGeeksReviews. As always, if you've made it this far, leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already. And my name's Al, thanks for watching.
That's all? If she were not dead, I would kill her.